Hi, everybody.
Hello.
We're here.
We
and
made
I'm
it.
totally not making a tweet right now.
No, not doing that at all. Not looking at our phones or doing anything of that ilk. We are professional. We are streamers, and we are doing the best work we can possibly do. Hello.
I think I took a blurry picture of us. So.
Well, you know, but
Sorry.
here's for real though. Like, this is just gonna be me. Pretend the camera's not on right now. We're good looking, so it's okay.
We're pretty people, so we can get away with crappy pictures.
With crappy pictures. That's my logic today. Hello, my name is Drunkly Romantic, and I am on Behind the Screens for the first time. I'm so excited to be here because I get to sit next to. I'm gonna keep vamping until you're done typing.
No, it's fine. I was just trying to type your name, and apparently it's Drungelo.
My name is Drungelo. Hello, I am your local clown, Drungelo. I hang out near the docks.
I don't know how that
Drungelo. So welcome in. I am, of course, joined by the Behind the Screens host, Random Tuesday, and the birthday human.
Yeah?
Who we will definitely take a minute to sing to at some point.
Oh,
I don't know how long that minute will last, but
Save it for this weekend.
Save it for this weekend. Hey, guess what? It's happening this weekend, though.
Done.
Saturday, Seed and Spark campaign. It's going to go live literally any minute now, and we're celebrating Anna Geeks' birthday. There's still cupcakes.
I'm gonna eat one later.
Listen, so these are the
I don't know.
these
I'm
are the
hurt.
I ate
I'm
two.
hurt.
I ate two, and I'm glad that there's two left.
3 people didn't have cupcakes.
Well, that's because they were slow, and your cupcakes are delicious. Hey guys,
They're-
welcome to Random Tuesday Behind the Twos.
Behind the
Behind the
Tuesdays.
Twos. I'm pretty sure that's what this is called, right?
I really can't wait until I'm famous enough to have my own show that's just like
Behind
the Tuesday.
Behind the
But it's
Tuesday.
like an AMC I don't know why I said AMC. AMC's a movie theater.
Harkins. I want a Harkins documentary, only
It's like
Southwest.
a Lifetime documentary or something. You know,
I would
MTV
like-
Behind the Magic. That's what it is.
What if it was
What?
a surprise, like literally on a random Tuesday, they would come into your house and film you, so like you wouldn't be able to plan. It'd just be a random Tuesday. It's called Behind the Random Tuesdays. How you doing?
Also, Mangled Pork is correct. I only play RPGs with pretty people.
That's also accurate.
you're welcome.
Yeah. Oh, thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
That's
Because
why you never play with me.
Hey!
Oh, hey.
That is rude,
Listen.
and that is also untrue.
And
It's
on
my
Christmas
birthday,
of all
I
the
can
days.
Get away with whatever I want.
She does have a point. It is Anna Geeks' birthday. Please, if you are on Twitter or in chat right now, shout out at Anna Geeks. Happy birthday. We hope it is perfect. We hope it is
happy
lovely
birthday
day from all of us to you. We wish
Happy,
it was a
happy
birthday
birthday from
because you're
friends.
still awesome and we love you. I didn't have a
I
good
don't
one. That
actually know
didn't
that
that didn't work
I think
very
it's
well,
about
but
friends
okay.
and family or something.
I think it's definitely
Hi,
about friends and
everybody.
family. Hi.
And if you're new and joining us for the first time, this is Behind the Screens, a show where we talk about the stuff that goes on behind the screen, but also behind the GM screen that I have, fun fact, never used a GM screen before.
So
This show is a sham.
can I ask you a
It is
question
lie.
as a first time GM?
Yeah.
Is that what that means? That you're behind a GM screen where you put up your like "Don't cheat on me, Daryl"?
Yeah.
Like little
Yeah,
little
it's
notebook.
because you don't trust your players or something. I don't actually know why people use GM screens. They sometimes have really useful information printed on them, but I think there's like people not wanting to hide information
Okay.
is a big reason why they do that, and like not trusting that their
That
players
makes sense.
won't
Won't just,
look
like,
at their
peek.
notes. Because like I've had my notes sit in front of me, and my players don't look at them because I trust them to not be like, oh, what's this monster? Like, what the fuck?
I
Why
want
would
to.
you do
I want
that
to find
to
out
your
organically
GM?
though too. Like I would like to. Every time that you've GM'd for me, I have been sitting a good distance away.
Mm-hmm.
But I can tell you that I've never wanted to peek over maliciously and learn what's going to happen because it was more about the experience of what was going to happen and what we would do in the scenario. Personally, that's where I come from.
I really don't want to like keep interrupting because I know it's horribly unprofessional of me. However, you have very clearly never played RPGs with your siblings.
Fair.
No, my sister did cheat the fuck at card games though. So you know the game
That's why.
I Doubt
That's
You or BS?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, the card game, right, where you split the deck up and then you kind of have to lie to say like, oh, I've told this story before, but like I have this card in my hand, but you actually don't have this card. People can call you out, and then you have to pick them all up. You know the number of people that game does not work for? 2 players. It does not work for 2 players.
Oh. And I'm guessing you experienced this pain with your
I
sibling.
did, because I was like 7, and so, or maybe slightly younger, and didn't occur to me that if you split a deck in half, the other person knows all of the cards
Oh
that
yeah.
you have.
Yeah. Okay, I see. I now understand the problem. That's really hard. I was lucky to have all of my siblings were a lot older than me, so I got to deal with a sibling who was 13 years younger than me, and man,
Ooh.
did I wreck him in
I bet
every
you
game.
did.
Like Uno, I was like, when he would like Uno, no, you have to say Uno the way I want you to say it, and then, no, I win, so we won Uno. Bye. That's not how I play games, except for my little brother.
Anyway,
Yeah.
behind the screens, you're correct, Corellin. There are functions for GM screens, and those are largely in more competitive forms of RPG, which is not a wrong way to do RPGs. It's just not the way that I personally RPG. Like, to be clear, that is a totally valid choice that you can make when you're playing a tabletop RPG.
If I were to play D&D with you, could I beat you in D&D? Is that what competitive means?
Me,
or?
no, because that's not the way I play. I think there are people who would believe that yes,
Okay,
you
fair.
could beat them, or you could not.
I want to get to Krellin's answer to
I do
Quellen's
too.
question real quick.
I really should finish introducing this show.
No. Because guess what? AJ says, happy birthday, Ship Commander. Also, hi, wonderful GMs. I'm not a GM yet.
That's
legally.
not true. You have technically done it once.
Medically, I'm not a GM.
We're also not a ship. We're a space station.
Yeah, we're a space station, AJ. Honestly, unsubscribe now. You don't deserve. I love you. You're great. I cannot wait. AJ's gonna be one of our players as well as Random Tuesday and Jackie Dash. So very excited.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
This is Behind the Screens. We talk about playing and running tabletop RPGs, and today I'm bringing upon Drunkly Romantic because he will be running his technically second, but I think he likes to consider his first RPG this weekend on Saturday.
Well-
It is called Ryuutama. I'm talking.
Oh, well, you're good. You're good. I can't wait till
I'm
Saturday.
not gonna let you insult yourself yet, because I know that's what's about to come out of your mouth. So we're gonna talk about what that's like, what your prep has been looking like, what you're nervous about, what you're excited for, all of those cool things. The other aspects of this, we're Geek Space TV. We are a nonprofit broadcasting studio. Our Seed and Spark to fund our next season is launching imminently. We would love you to check out.
It hasn't yet if you really want.
No, it's okay. I'm not throwing anyone under a bus yet.
Throw me under the bus.
It is launching imminently, so stay tuned for that. We will spam this link across all of the social medias, and that will help us if you're able to. We truly appreciate both your donations as well as your support through Seed and Spark or over on Patreon. All of those things help us produce the content that we would like to create here, and that brings us to Ryuutama. What is Ryuutama?
Ryuutama is many a wonderful thing. I want to do a quick shout out because Strix is in chat right now. Strix was my first ever GM, the first ever. Talk about being spoiled, by the way. All of my GMs have been like Lauren, Steph, Strix, Claudia, Four, and people I'm probably going to forget while saying this, but like there's people who I've had an absolute pleasure. Anna, like these people who have taught me so much GMing. So I want to say thank you. Strix GM'd Ryuutama for me 3 episodes a while ago. It was my first introduction to the show, and I've been hooked on it ever since, or the overall concept of it. Ryuutama is called, I think the translation is Ryuutama, a natural fantasy RPG. It is a standard Japanese RPG. Not standard, that might be the wrong word to use. It is a Japanese RPG that was translated about 3 or 4 years ago by some really talented and wonderful people into English and now sold. It is often referred to as Miyazaki's Oregon Trail. I am not here to cast aspersions on that because that is overall the vibe. There is a... it is
Sounds
more.
great.
It's fantastic. But for me, when I played it, one of the things that I was the most excited about was the fact it was like, it was closer to JRPGs for me. Like it reminded me of like Chrono Trigger and Earthbound, and it had these kind of creative sensibilities, and the way the way the book is written is so wholesome and sweet. Like I'm not saying it's cheesy, but
I have like a really important mechanical question
Oh,
for
yeah.
you as a player. When we get into fight scenes, do I have to do this the whole time?
Dun, 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 dun. So as soon as you encounter a situation, it's going to go.
You joke, but that was straight up a feature that we had in the Final Fantasy RPG,
Oh.
like improv show I was in.
Well, listen. I
like we would stand on stage and do this, and then fight each other. It was really great.
absolutely love it because that's one of my God. Yes, Ryuutama. I'm gonna get distracted because I love
You're
all of this.
welcome.
Ryuutama is it does have the overall kind of vibe of whimsy, but not safety that Miyazaki films that kind of permeate a lot of Miyazaki films or Studio Ghibli films because Miyazaki is not responsible for all of them. Where you don't feel it's not necessarily safe, but the world is not inherently evil. And that's
Right.
one of the ways that I took from it. One of my favorite things about reading the book for the first time on the couch while I was sitting there with Strix while she was explaining me and Sally and Legendary Hero a couple of the rules, the thing that always stuck with me was that the word monsters were in quotation marks.
Interesting.
And a lot of games have since like done things like that. Like I've referenced Undertale as an inspiration. It's more Earthbound than Undertale for me. But I like the idea of it. Ryuutama is a game where you play as travelers. The society, the world of the game itself, the society is built in. It is a cultural expectation that once in everyone's life they will go on a journey. There are systems and infrastructures built into the world where, like, if you're a human, if you're a person, you have to go on a journey. But don't worry, your farms are going to be taken care of. We have money put aside to take care of your family if you're going to be leaving. Everyone has to do it. You become a traveler, as Strix said in the game that we played with a capital T. And you go on an adventure. There's different reasons for adventures. There's also...
It's basically going on your mission.
It is, but...
But without the religious part.
And there's also... The thing that makes it a little more interesting for me is that you play as the GM is a character in the game as well. Not just NPCs, but they play Ryujin, which are these dragon people, these 4 dragon people. These 4 dragon means spring, summer, winter, fall, and winter. They have this. They each have their specific abilities. They each tell a specific story. For this one, I will be playing the same choice that Strix actually made as the Azure Dragon, the Blue Dragon. Stories of adventure and friendship and heroism, because that really connects with me. And one of the things about this game that is also incredibly fascinating is that all of the characters. Sorry, I don't want to go into it too much. I really genuinely love this. This is the first RPG that stuck with me. The world is set up, and I'll go into it a little bit better because I have a planned thing that I wanted to say for the show on Saturday. But the thing that I'm really excited about is that the characters are going on this journey, and the dragon that's following them on the journey is actually writing the story down. Because the story is how they feed and nurture the younger dragons who are helping shape the world. So your adventures will shape the world around you. It is a weird and sweet thing that I absolutely love. The Book of Winter, which is the overall monster, the monster section of it, is one of my favorite bestiaries in any. I'm not a big RPG person, which sounds weird because that's kind of what I work with. But I'm less experienced than a lot of people who are here. But this is the one that completely resonated with me, not just for creative and inventive monsters, but the potential of what you can do with them, and that's largely what the show that I want to put on is.
That's really cool. I'm very excited. So, what has been the part that's been the... Like, what's your process been?
Oh.
What does this planning look like?
Putting it off for 2 years, and then...
Cool.
don't shoot, don't drop it.
For a time?
I didn't feel super confident in my ability to GM. Not to tell a story, per se, but to run a campaign in such an organized and well-mannered way, like a way that will seem functional and polished. So a lot of this, if I may say this for a second,
maybe we'll find out.
We'll get bleeped. If the stream just shuts down, then you know something went wrong. There is a song, a Kim Ritchie song with the lyrics, someday I'll go where there ain't no rain or snow, till then I'll travel alone. And I'll make my bed with the stars above my head and dream of a place called home. It is a song that has stuck with me since the first time I heard it in 2006 at the end of an episode of a TV show that I really liked. And I downloaded it, I bought the CD, I listened to it, and I have been playing it nonstop. That song has resonated with me. And that's why this show, if we get to do it, if the Seed and Spark this weekend is this successful over the next month.
This weekend, that's it. That's all we got.
I mean, if you guys hate the show too, it's not going to happen. But if it is successful and you guys do enjoy the show,
It just gave Anna a heart attack.
the idea, the song, the show will be called Ryuutama, A Place Called Home, because it is all about the journey. For me, like the last year of my life has been kind of hectic. Some people know about it, some people don't. It was just a hodgepodge of a lot of health stuff, a lot of concern, a lot of worry, and I got to thinking, like, how much would how much changes over the course of a year in someone's life. And for me, what I want to do is a 4-episode arc of Ryuutama. Spring, summer, fall, and winter. I want to take these 4 characters and follow 4 days of a year of their life together, separated by 4 seasons. And I want to see what they get up to. Again, we don't have a cast. We have the show on Saturday, so which will be again a what I'm referring to as a demo, not a actual.
It's your first episode. It's also like probably more of a pilot episode might be the way to think about it. It's a chance
I'm going
for
with
you
demo
to try it. I also just feel like a really strong need to point out that I successfully ate an entire cupcake and none of it ended up on the ground.
It didn't drop. It didn't fall. Your clothes are mostly clean. It's going expectedly well, because I believe in you.
Now my clothes are clean.
No, now it's clean after you snack off them a little bit.
It's for later foods.
Thank you, AJ. I'm glad you're listening to it. For those of you who are asking, it's A Place Called Home by Kim Ritchie. That's the name of the song, and that's the artist who performs it.
A prologue, Khalidi says.
A prologue.
Your prologue.
Demo. I'm going with demo.
I'm excited. I'm excited to get to be there for your like first true GMing experience, and I say this because your first time that you technically GM'd something was a game of Skull Wizards as Strawberry.
Yes,
which I feel like playing
most...
a game as a character is not quite the same experience. Like you have a different mindset, and like your objectives are going to be different.
That is part of why I will refer to this as my first actual GM, where it is it's my story that I want to tell with the people I want to tell it with. That's kind of how because as when I GM the game of Skull Wizards inside of a game of Broken Worlds,
it's a very different experience. It's not.
Yeah, it was definitely a little too hard for me. It was fun. I love that cast. I love that crew, and I love that Steph gave me the space to tell that story inside of there. I love games that will tell that have that kind of meta-ness to it, but. This is the first one that I'm definitely not going to have to be in purple or blue makeup. There might be a little blue. I am playing a blue dragon, but guess what? Probably not makeup unless you fund that Seed and Spark, and I'll be.
If we successfully fund the entire Seed and Spark before Saturday, then Marcus will paint himself blue.
I will paint myself blue. I'll dye myself blue permanently.
No, let's not go for that.
Well, yeah, like anyone's gonna hold me to that. Will I wear my wing? I wish I had wings. If I had wings, I'd wear them, but I don't. I do have blue horns.
Casey has little tiny dragon wings, but I don't know if they'd show up on camera.
No, they're
real small.
They probably wouldn't.
Yeah.
This Saturday, the demo is going to be starring, of course, the lovely and talented Random Tuesday, AJ Bolden, you love, and Jackie Dash, Claudia. I'm very excited to have these 3 people here on the show, and.
Fun.
The overall idea of what the Saturday show is going to be less of, it's going to be try to show off the world and show off what we can do with it. It's less going to be the exact same thing we're going to do, but hopefully it leaves a positive taste in your mouth that you want to see more of it, because what I have planned if we get to do this, I'm very excited about.
All I know is it involves an egg person and a house and a cat.
I don't know about that.
It's all terrifying. Paladin Hulk, thank you so much for that donation of $5.69. I support Drunkly being a kick-ass storyteller. I do too, and I'm glad I'm not alone in that.
Yeah. Thank you.
So you started describing what your process was. Like you
Yes.
said that you put it off for 2 years, and then you came.
I spent a year of my life.
How much of you doing this now was because I was very forceful, or how much of it was you were like, I'm actually ready? Because I'm always a little worried.
for Saturday was like that I hadn't got the book until way later. I had the digital copy, so I was kind of scrolling through on my phone and trying to I had. So part of the idea was putting together a story. I knew I loved Ryuutama. I knew I loved the world. I knew I really enjoyed the system. Ryuutama is an incredibly simplistic system, and that is not to say that it is for beginners. It is very easily accessible to jump into. So the world and the setting is the king needs his, as Grinny Weasley puts so eloquently in chat, the king needs his ramen.
The fuck?
The king needs his ramen.
Who's the king, and why does he need ramen?
Tune in Saturday to find out.
Great.
We are going to be doing something a little adventurous, and it's kind of a test run for some ideas that we have. We are not going to be telling one story on Saturday. We are going to be doing 2 stories.
This is the part where I think you've lost the plot, but I'm really excited.
Well,
to
this
see
is
if
just
it works.
this is just for the fundraiser to see if it works. But we are going to be telling 2 stories with the same character, so there will be 2 little I don't want to say arcs, but 2 little mini stories in one. And again, that's inspired by my first love, which is Saturday morning cartoons that have these 2-part episodes. Like one's 11-minute, the next one's 11-minute. This is heavily inspired by animation for me. This whole campaign from like the easy ones like Steven Universe, Gumball, the best Alex Hirsch's Gravity Falls, which I love. I think that's my favorite animated show of all time. Maybe Fighting
Alyssa,
Steven Universe.
I think both plots. I don't think he's gonna get any plots.
Wait,
just
what?
kidding.
Are you
Which
being?
plot? I said I'd
Are you
give you
casting
plots.
aspersions on my first time
No.
GMing Lauren on camera? That would be a terrible thing.
I'm genuinely very excited. I think this is a really cool concept to try. Because, like, I obviously tell episodic content, but I also tend to have more longer-term narratives. That's something that I tend to trend towards in a lot of the RPG shows that I do. So I think it'd be really interesting to see what a show looks like when you start and resolve a conflict or a problem or whatever the thing happening within the episode is resolved within the first half. Like there's no carryover, there's no cliffhangers, there's no like continuing portion of it. It just happens and it starts and it finishes. And I think that's really cool, and it's not something that we see a lot in RPGs, in any context of RPGs. Like I mean home games and in also like and in-person games. I think the closest you get is a lot of games that people do at conventions where they have these short time frames that they have to tell a story in.
Yeah. And the thing is, you need rails for a plot, but what defines those rails? What are the rails? In my mind, one of the things that I took from, like, I don't want to. When you asked me what my process was, I put it off for 2 years, and then I put it off for a year, and then I sat and watched and listened to the people around me, like with you, how much you trust your players, and you have a story and narrative built in, but you know that they're going to choose things. You don't know that they're going to choose the exact thing that you would choose. They might surprise you or blindside you, but the trust that you can control the story there. Steph's ability to let the narrative flow and then collaborate and play with it. Claudia's Jackie Dash's sheer creativity when it comes to any scene whatsoever. On the forefront, who's a GM I've worked with last year and a half. Fantastic person. His character work and the NPCs he came up with, incredible. Trooper SJP, the fact that he gave you a world that was real and felt grounded and you have to interact in. The GM of Night Witches, which will also be at 3 p.m. on Saturday in the middle of our Seed and Spark campaign. All of these lovely and talented people, and I'm sure more that I'm going to forget, I've been watching you guys. And I'm not saying I'm going to pull it off on my first try, but again, that's why I'm referring to this.
You make,
Every night you day.
every check you say.
Oh gosh.
When you roll that dice, I'll be watching you.
So that's literally what I've been doing. I've been trying to pay attention. I knew that I wanted a story because I did really want to cover a year, and I wanted to. I'm excited to have been I have been working on this world that exists. And I'm less excited to show you the world and more excited to show the players the world and then see how they exist in it. Because this is a new thing for me. Writing a story without main characters is the weirdest thing. I that's the one thing that I wasn't prepared for. Writing a story without main characters.
So I had the opposite experience this year during NaNoWriMo.
Yeah.
So for those who don't know, NaNoWriMo is National November Novel Writing Month. It's where you try and write 50,000 words in 30 days, and it's awful, but you should do it.
Yeah.
And I'd done it one year, and then I did the following year I'd done Shadowrun, and this year I had 3 years of RPGs on Twitch and all of the so many hours of doing it. And so I was writing it, and I was like, my characters aren't making decisions on their own. I have to come up with everything. Dang it! They're not getting themselves in trouble. I have to do it for them.
It is.
So,
yeah.
I know both feelings now. Yeah, you're like, man, I have so much work.
Which is, again, a very weird thing that I've never experienced. I've written things that were performed. I've written things that I've performed. But to have here's my thing. I have no idea what you guys are going to do. Here's my thing. One of the things that I'm most excited about this is that it will be I want it to be the full show. It's going to be a little harder because it's a one shot. We're kind of throwing things together. I do have people who I trust 100% working with me, so that's something I'm incredibly grateful for, to have the opportunity and the space to do that in. But one of the things when we get to, if we get to showtime, is it's going to be a collaborative effort of building this world. We're going to have ideas and concepts and things that we won't push. One of the things that I also haven't said yet is that I would like this to not have any swear words in it.
We can do that.
I believe we can do that, but that's a crutch that we can use where we can say things like that. So now having to think a little bit extra about what we say, I would like this to be
I worked at summer camp for 3 years. I had to learn how to not swear for like months.
I
at
worked.
a time. It was really hard.
I ran a youth theater group for a while, like a company, and I remember one of the hardest things I had was like, I wanted to say the bad, no good, very bad, not good words loudly when I was frustrated, but I couldn't because there were kids around me.
Yeah.
So I would have to find inventive ways to say things. And how I took it was I went with old-timey prospector, like Consarn it. It's a good one.
I think my go-to, hey everybody, guess what's live? Our Season Spark campaign.
What?
If you would like to support us in creating our content for Season 2, Year 2, please head over to that link, retweet that, do all of that stuff. It's cool.
I didn't want to interrupt.
No, I know.
thank you.
I found a moment. It's all good. Also, hi Raver. Thank you. Welcome in new faces.
I wanted to
Or
say to
super
Raver,
lurker
because I
faces.
think Raver had mentioned in chat that they liked Gravity Falls, which if you haven't seen Gravity Falls, it is probably my favorite animated show of all time. It is a equal parts like Monster of the Week with a kind of a DuckTales emphasis on adventure, but with a Simpsons style quality of comedy. It is one of, if not my favorite animated show of all time, and I want to give it a shout out here. But the largest influence on the show was a show that I picked up last October called Over the Garden Wall. It was created by Patrick McHale. It was done it was I believe it was right at the time or just slightly before Steven Universe started. It was a 10-part episode, 11-minute episodes tops, featuring Elijah Wood as the lead voice actor. It's the best thing Elijah Wood's done since Lord of the Rings, and if you like Wilfred too, I don't want to cast aspersions on Wilfred, but like, it is an incredible piece. It is a Cartoon Network gave this little animator who made this weird short a bunch of money to do an experiment on animation, and it is the most successful piece of animated storytelling that I think has come out of conventional means, like from a major network. It is so unique, and it is set a tone for like the future of animation on Cartoon Network specifically, with things like, and I'm not saying that it didn't really pave the way for a show like Steven Universe, because you can't pave the way for a show like Steven Universe, because Steven Universe kicks in the front door when it gets there. Steven
Universe for me is an example of a show that I think is what I love about storytelling. Like, it does some of the best storytelling that I think that I've ever seen, but also the sort of storytelling that is not necessarily something you can do in an RPG, and that's okay.
Yeah, and one of the interesting things about Steven Universe too is that we've talked about this before, like in together, because we are people who exist in the same world. Where we've discussed the fact that we like the fact that it doles out the story like in little bits. Again, one of my favorite moments is season 1 of Steven Universe, like the first 10 episodes, where like it's like, Steven says something to Amethyst, and Amethyst is like, no one makes me feel anything I don't want to do, and they just hold on her for a second, and she just walks out of the room, and they never touch on that for like 10, 15 more episodes. Like, but that establishes so much character wise. You don't need anything more. You know enough about that, and then you get little pieces as the time goes on. I like it. Good form of storytelling.
It's very good. It's very good long-term storytelling. It's something that I've thought about in terms of like, I love how it does that, and I have it influences the way that I want to do RPGs, but to me, one of the things that is so important about doing a role-play game is, like you said, you're writing a story without main characters. And there's a huge difference between writing a show like Steven Universe, where you can sit down and say, like, they can know exactly who this character actually is, like all of the truth and the backstory of a character that you learn about in the beginning, right? And so, you encounter this one character, and there's so many things the audience doesn't know, and the players and the characters and stuff. But that's not a thing you can plan for in an RPG.
Yeah.
Because I don't know who my characters are, and I don't know what's important to them until they tell me. And I think that's the difference between a collaborative storytelling experience as opposed to a written storytelling experience. And I think that is a place where people sometimes make mistakes in RPGs.
One of the things I am very excited about is to, again, I'm referring to this as the demo. because it is an idea of what we can do. It is like a proof of concept essentially. It's like, here, check this out. We want to do more with this world and this story. But part of that for me is that I want to talk with the players. I want to build the story, the narrative, but then have the players literally just influence it with who they are. Because a big part of this, and a big part of the world of Ryuutama is who this is. Like the first time I played Ryuutama, in the second like leg of our adventure, it was one of the characters went to pick raspberries and nearly died, and we dealt with that the rest of the show. It is if you roll Snake Eyes in Ryuutama, not great. We'll make it happen. We'll make it work, because if the characters have to have each other's back in this game specifically, or else it goes a little weird. Mm-hmm. But even then, there's still stories of, like, the stories we're going to be telling are heroics and friendship and things like that. But if you are like the Black Dragon or the Red Dragon, which is war and violence and hatred, those are also stories that are potentially told in this world. This world is full of a lot of characters that I am very excited for. Not only you, the chat, but the players who get to play my game get to meet. I'm really excited because I love the people who are around me, and I think they're so talented.
So the question, if you brought up, and I talked about it a little bit, but it's related to that concept, right? That you're writing a story without characters. Like, that's what you're doing as a GM. You have some of the characters, but you don't have your main characters because you only have the NPCs. So you don't necessarily have as much control over what's happening. So the trick is, if you want to do storytelling like the way Steven Universe or a show like that does, where they kind of dole out these bits of information, and then they tie, that everything ties together in the end, is you have to cheat in an RPG. Maybe not cheat, but you have to pretend like you planned it all along when you did not. Like, functionally, that's kind of what you end up having to do. Yeah. Because you can take all of these things and you're like, this thing someone said in, like, episode 1 that for some reason I wrote down and made a note of it. Like, Claudia talked about bad princesses during an episode. And so, like, what I do is I take that and I'm like, yes, now bad princesses become part of the world. And so you do what's called an improv, is reincorporate. Mm-hmm. So you take a detail that someone made up and you bring it back later on to have in your show.
It fills out the world too.
And that fills out the world, and that's the closest. That's what you can kind of get if you want if you want to be collaborative in your RPG. And there are GMs who don't want to do that, and there are groups that don't want to do that. They want, like, this intricate, like, planned out thing to happen, and that's okay too. But that's not.
Whoa!
That's not how I go. Woo! We're like 3% of the way there.
$965 so far have been pledged. We just started this. Just after this show starts. This has been going on for maybe 10 minutes. Thank you so much. That is incredible, because that's going to lead to, like, really interesting and new content, like we've been producing Night Witches. But if we get there, I have a little, aside from a vested interest, that I like working here and I like Geek Space existing because I get to work with these people.
If this is up, are all of the stuffs on there?
Yes.
So we can talk about some of these things. So you're going to be running Ryuutama.
Yes.
You're doing that for our Season Spark. This is going to be your first jamming. We can talk a little bit more. I'll go into reincorporation because you've done improv too. So
yes.
You can touch on like what are some of the things what are some of the skills that you take from improv? What are the other things you've done to prepare for this? Ryuutama is one of the shows that we would like to run as part of our next season. We also have a short run of an Expanse RPG using the Expanse RPG system, which is going to be by Green Ronin, which is based off of similar to Fantasy Age or Modern Age, if anyone is familiar with those. It's a very solid system. I've had the chance of using that before. And then we also obviously want to fund Worlds Beyond Season 2 and another season of Night Witches. And if we get past all of that, there is a stretch goal.
Whoa!
Jesus.
2034 now.
Sorry to interrupt your show.
No, that's great.
This is awesome. I'm going to look at the camera while I say this. I will run a game in the Shadowrun universe. It's on the page. I have committed to this.
We can't lie about it. No, you have to do it.
Yeah, it's a thing. And actually, I'm like genuinely excited about this, so I want us to get there. But I'll be upfront with you all now. I'm probably not going to use actual Shadowrun. I might use Anarchy, but more likely it's going to be a version of Blades in the Dark. That's
Oh,
probably
that
what
that
we're
would
going
that
for.
would be a good use
I
of this
remember-
Shadow One setting.
I remember reading
that's
Blades in the Dark, and I went, so this is a book that should be Shadowrun because it's all about groups of people doing heists. Cool. I'll look at that later.
And immediately after this, right, is Wind Down. We're doing Wind Down.
Immediately
correct?
after this, yes.
Yeah.
So
For 30 minutes, hard limit.
Precisely.
I will only
Set a
take
timer.
questions for Seed and Spark or Night Witches.
30 minutes, because guess what? It is Anna Geek's birthday today. Birthday.
That
So
was-
only 30 minutes of Scene Spark related questions after the show. Wind down, then Anna's gonna go celebrate her lovely birthday like the lovely human she is.
that was my attempt at doing the horn sound.
I liked it. It was
Yeah,
good.
cool,
I got it.
Cool.
It
I'm glad,
it
I'm glad you
scanned.
understood.
It was good. Yeah.
Did it read?
Yeah.
So let's talk more about your first GMing experience.
Yeah.
So far, your process has been ignore it, come back to it, observe people and different GMing styles. And so you've touched a little bit on like some of the things that you've pulled from the various different people that you've had the pleasure or experience of being a player under. Can Marcus sing happy birthday for Anne on camera? We will totally do that.
Absolutely.
Done. And oh no!
No.
Is
There's
there
one
some
in
in
the
our
fridge.
I'll
fridge?
have some when I got home and I drove anyway.
That's
Oh,
fair. Okay, that's fair. Yeah.
That's fair. So the other aspects, what are some of the specific things for Ryuutama that you've taken? Like, because obviously when I run a one shot like Crossmith, that is very different than the sort of thing that you were trying to do for Ryuutama, like trying to incorporate all of these sort of different things. So what's some of the kind of specific things that you think you've picked up from other GMs that you want to take into running a game like Ryuutama?
So is this specifically like the game system based question, or is
No,
it more of
just
like a working?
general
Oh, okay.
GMing things that
Yeah.
you've experienced that you're like, I like that and I want to take it.
Okay. A lot of the again, like the people I've been very spoiled. I have never played.
That's irrelevant. Like, what are the actual things that you're going to take as a player?
Oh God, as a GM,
I've also
yeah.
pretty much only ever had good GMs, or GMs that I've at least enjoyed playing.
Well, I've never
with.
played a home game. I've never played not on camera live in front of stream before. I've never
Should
played an
probably
RPG.
fix that.
Never played an RPG that wasn't on camera.
It's weird.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
normal. It's fine.
Yeah.
At this point, it's normal in my life.
So when I say spoiled, I'll say spoiled in that regard because again, Strix is my first GM. This is my first GM like 5 times in a row. But one of the things that I
I've
really
never had the pleasure of having Strix GM for me.
ooh, you are missing
I've had the
out.
pleasure of having her as a player, but I've not gotten to enjoy Strix as GM.
Can I do my impression of Strix as a GM?
Yeah.
Would you mind just like asking me a question?
Can I open the door?
Yes.
Oh no, I don't want to open the door anymore.
Exactly. It's she. The thing about Strix that I love is that if you take her by surprise, she sits there and she thinks about the choice, and then she's like, okay, let's do it. Like, and it's just the patience with that, like the patience from Strix, how to shift an idea when it's not, she doesn't have necessarily an actual plan.
Mm-hmm.
There, I'm not saying she doesn't plan. But like for me, one of the things that I am working on, and one of the things I want to take from again a fellow Geek Space alum and current Geek Space GM, Trooper SJP, is that he sets up this whole world that you are literally in. Mm-hmm. And there are options that you can take that can surprise him, and he's not necessarily always you won't be necessarily prepared for that. But the world, like I feel like if I open the door, I'm going to get a story. Like even if it's not the door that I was supposed to open, even if it's the door that I'm told to open, even if I didn't know or the GM knew that door was there, I'm like, there's a door here. And I'm not saying anyone can't do that, but in my experience, that was one of the things that I absolutely want to use and repurpose. I want to give the one of the things that I really enjoyed working with Steph too is the ability to like we're like, if she doesn't have an idea, she's just like, describe it. And it was, I'm like, I was not prepared for that as a player. I was like,
I started doing so much more of that. So this probably also came for you because of improv experience. One of the things you're first taught when you start doing improv is don't ask questions.
Yes.
Never ask another player a
yes.
question. Because in improv, it's a really shitty thing to do to another person. You're like, oh, I got you this present. What's in this box? And the person's like, I don't know. You gave it to me, and like you set up the other person, you force the other person to have to do the work for you. And so as a GM, I had to learn that it was okay to ask my players questions.
Yeah. Oh,
that
yeah.
It's okay to say, what does this person look like? Like, describe them for me, because I'm so used to just like from the improv background that I wasn't allowed to ask them questions.
Yeah, of course, because
I was giving them work to do that I shouldn't give them.
Yeah, because you, especially with like long form improv, you don't want to put anything more on anyone's shoulders
No, because
than you already have
everybody's
to.
everyone's like deer in the headlights.
It is just like just set. Everyone's just trying to set up as best they can. You don't want to spike it on someone who's just trying to set you up. Like that is a thing that terrifies me as a.
There are so many good things to take from improv, but that is one that you should immediately forget about when you do play an RPG. You are allowed, encouraged, and should ask questions, GM to player and player to GM.
See that's also like part of one of the things that I
And
wanted
to be clear, in improv, it's not that you don't ask questions; it's that you tell everyone everything. So, like, I'm still talking, but I'm like, I got you this birthday present. It is a baseball.
What do you think about this baseball that I got you? Like that's a way
Right,
to
like-
ask a question.
Yeah. So
in-
you endow exactly what you were giving to them, as opposed to being like, I got you this birthday present, and they're like, I don't know what's in this box, and now I have to make it up.
Oh, it's a Gwyneth Paltrow's head. I have no idea.
And they're like, well,
That's
this scene with
surprising.
some-
I guess we're just gonna finish off the movie 7. Thanks for this great improv,
You should
Mitch.
move over slightly because you're in the chat.
Oh well.
Do it. Yeah, there you go.
Hey, chat.
So yeah, sorry, that was my tangent about.
No, please.
asking
That's
questions
amazing.
is very
Because
important.
we also have performance, improv, theatrical backgrounds. So that's a big thing that I want. One of the things that I want to bring to this too is again, it's going to be. Thank you for the great clip. Strix is going to love it.
Please send it to her.
I'm going to be in the same city-ish as Strix at one point in the next year, so I'm definitely going to get beat up. I'm
You
excited.
realize that we're all at some point probably going to be in the same city.
Everyone.
We're both in the same city with her this year already.
Yeah, more than once.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Huh.
No.
No, once,
I've
yeah.
only been in this
Yeah.
year only once.
Oh, you didn't go to the secret party that was... Oh, I was not... Anna, delete the VOD. Anna, delete the VOD.
Don't worry, I wasn't invited either.
One of the things that I wanna bring to Ryuutama, which I liked about the longest show I've ever been a part of, was Eat Pray Kill, a show that we had no negative things about this. We were in full makeup for like a year.
Thanks, Strix.
Thanks to Strix. I loved it. I love makeup. I love doing all that stuff. My skin did not love it. I'm still recovering from it a little bit. But it's relatively
It's good. It's
soft.
good.
I've been working really hard and getting it back. But like the commitment
Get you
to
an
the
Asian beauty routine.
Yes, I actually have. You have no idea. I got everyone I know, including like family and friends, have sent me like face masks and things like for Christmas. That's what I got for Christmas. Like I have a
Just
box of
face
face masks, just various ones. Some of them are tigers, some of them are penguins. It's pretty fantastic. But we had a whole lot about that, which is again what Paladin Hope kind of says. Push the show to a next level, or the new level, which is not necessarily saying that anything against any other show, because one of the things I love about World Beyond, the recursions, the costumes, the way we can change, the way it's kind of...
It would be a difficult demand to ask everyone to do full costuming for Worlds Beyond, because
Yes.
they would need a new costume like every 2 weeks.
But they do, and they have done it and adjusted it and made it into a more showy kind of a thing, which I appreciate. One of the things that I would like to do with this show, if we hopefully get the seed and spark, if everyone still thinks it's a good idea after Saturday, I want this to be a little more clean cut of a show. One of the and again, this is gonna I have never been good at just kind of dipping my toe in. I like to kind of dive in head first to see what things are. But I would like this to be a little more showy, and the way I want to do that is make this a more collaborative project.
I think that I agree. To some extent, I do agree with you, Juvenile. I think a lot of that we're seeing is people pushing for it in games that traditionally did not include it, because there were RPGs and indie RPGs, and those have existed for a very long time, but they are definitely becoming more mainstream, like increases in seeing Powered by the Apocalypse style game. But like Tristat is pretty old as an RPG, and that one is very much just like, you got 3 stats and you rolled 2 dice. Do it. And so I think I think the original, because RPGs kind of came out of this wargaming history where it was adversarial with the GM, that players didn't feel empowered. And that sense of, I have any say in this universe just didn't exist.
And that is in reference to the questions, and answers.
Yeah, and asking questions and sharing in world building. So, and I think that's just a piece that, you're right, we're seeing that be a shift, and that probably wasn't there when I first started playing RPGs, which is why that whole, like, questions thing was not even really, like, an issue when I started. But I think it was something that all of us had, because I was playing with a group of improvisers, the first, like, really Twitch RPG that we did. So I think all of us were like, none of us can ask questions. Yeah. All of us must say everything. And
just yes and. I go through the door, and I punch the door.
Yeah. Oh, Tony. So yeah, you get to run your first RPG like a 4-parter or somewhere in that vein.
It would be ideally it would be 4 parts. It would again be spring, summer, fall, winter, all having a specific semblance, all specific symbolism to the characters and what is actually happening in the universe. There are at least my version of Ryuutama, the world is going to be separated into 4 chunks. Spring, summer, winter, fall. It's not just going to be, it's going to be parts of the world. Mm-hmm. So they will be traveling around the world for 1 year, and they will hit different parts as they go. There are, can I like, I don't want to, it's not necessarily spoilers for the show, because what I'm going to do with the characters in the monsters in the Book of Winter, there are characters like the Loyal Dog or the Halloween March. Mm-hmm. The Loyal Dog is into, like, every 15,000 dogs, one is born with the potential to be a loyal dog. This loyal dog is permanently at the side of their master. They are so loyal, they might even be able to learn how to speak a little bit. It is a monster in this game that is not necessarily a monster. It is not necessarily not a monster, because there's also the Hellhound, which is a beast literally from hell. It is a dog that's made of bones and on fire. Then there's the Halloween March, which is the Night of 100 Demons, where literally once a night the dragons, or sorry, demons, zombies, ghosts, monsters band together and march around the world, banging their drums and playing loud, upbeat music. And anyone who hears and sees this is instantly drawn to them and must follow them until they too become a corpse. The variety of monsters, like specifically my personal favorite is the Lemialone. The Lemialone is a wonderful creature who exists at least in my world, in the winter of it, where it is made entirely of gold through some kind of magic, whether it be just the world itself kind of creating it. It is a creature entirely of gold that loves people. It loves humans. It loves animals. But it was nearly hunted to extinction because it's made of gold. Now it yearns for a solitary life to hide away from the people it wanted to help, because they took advantage of it. Characters like that are what build the world of Ryuutama. The Neko goblins, these cats. They're not goblins. They're just anthropomorphic small cats that supposedly like ate all the goblins or took care of the goblin issue. Like what cats did for rats, but now they're just like, I guess we're cat goblins now. Let's do some stuff. Like the world is of Ryuutama, and the world in the book and the setting and the characters. And like, I swear, if you have access to Ryuutama, look through the Book of Winter. It is one of the most like creative experiences, like getting to see, and they leave it open for you to create and live and breathe in this world. And a big part of Ryuutama is the adventure, is the exploration part. And that's the thing that scares me the most, because I'm worried I'm not going to give enough exploration for you. And I know I'm not going to be able to do that, because we can't do a whole lot of exploring in 40 minutes this weekend. But one of the things that, again, draws me to it is that it is open. There is a world for you guys to breathe in and live in and be in. And who you are will affect the world, and what the world is will also affect you.
So what sort of approach are you taking in terms of planning? Like, that's one of the things we kind of talk a lot as a GM, is how are you setting things up for your players? Like, what would you say is the thing that you're trying to, like, how much do you have planned? How much do you not have planned?
A lot of the thing for the first for the show the Saturday the one shot that we're going to be running is going to be in the same vein of the overall show, but with a little more of a quick pace. The thing that I've been planning for the most, what I'm nervous about is I really want to showcase the mechanics, and I'm not sure. I'm a little worried that I'm not going to be able to do as great of a job at showcasing the mechanics. But a lot of the things that I've been doing have been in regards to the overall planning of it is focusing on creating a well-balanced and interesting world, and then just letting you guys go in it. Like, I know if you guys don't make choices, I can push the story ahead. If you guys make choices, I can adapt the story that I had in mind with what you guys do. Because again, one of my favorite things as a player, this is my first actual GM sit-down GMing. The things that I'm very excited about is I love as a player when we shape the world, when we make the world happen. And I'm not saying we get ultimate control, because you can always, as a GM, say no or yes, but, which is your style.
No, but, yes, and.
No, but, yes, and. No, but, yes, and, yes, yes, yes. Here's a present. What's in the present? Tell me what's in the present.
It's probably a monster.
It's probably
gonna
it's
eat
a
your
bookworm. And the bookworm's made of just, it's a monster. It's the size of the library.
Fun fact, if you need, not fun fact, pro tip, you need inspiration for monsters, go watch Blue Planet or Planet
Blue
Earth.
Planet, oh my gosh.
Blue Planet in particular, because shit under the water is weird.
It's alien. It's all aliens.
Water-based animals are weirder than land-based animals, but land-based animals are also pretty weird.
Well, so water-based animals had to be, and here's, can I tell you my personal like conspiracy theory about water-based animals?
Please do.
Water-based animals did not have to be watched by us. We didn't know what they were doing down there in that deep, dark, wet, dark water.
Yeah.
So we don't know exactly what was happening. And they were just like, you know what's going to happen? I'm going to get 3,000 teeth, and I'm going to have a light on my head.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah. Yeah. They're terrifying. There's some terrifying things in it, but they make great inspiration for monsters or aliens. I definitely, like, before I made a lot of the stuff in Leviathan, I clearly watched Blue Planet because I was like, if you look at my design for the Leviathans, they're cuttlefish. That's what they are, cuttlefish. They're basically a cuttlefish crossed with an octopus, but mostly a cuttlefish.
I do relate to the cuttlefish, mostly the cuddle part.
But they got like blah 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 and little blah blah blahs. They were.
Cuttle. Hey, want to see my impression of a cuttlefish?
That's a cuttlefish.
It's cuttlefish.
Yeah.
Cuttlefishes are adorable. They are. Cuttlefish?
Cuttlefish.
Cuttlefish, like microfiche.
Cuttlefish.
Cuttlefiches.
So that is basically what I based them off, and I clearly had watched another episode of it this like last 2 weeks because the librarians from the librarians were just this animal.
I had no idea.
That's terrifying. That would be a great monster.
As sitting over there as you created those monsters like that. So I am literally when Worlds Beyond's happening, I am sitting right where
behind
I'm pointing. Behind this camera. You
can't see it, but it's right here.
I get to experience that happen, and it's really a wonderful experience to get to be honest. I love Worlds Beyond. I also love Leviathan. To be fair, like I was a fan of Leviathan before I got to be on it, and now Worlds Beyond, I'm like, Trace got it.
Gooey duck monster.
No gooey ducks.
No.
But again, I think Kate from Eat, Pray, Kill, one of our other shows that ended a couple months ago, mentioned that if it's called a gooey duck, then we have to call Geodude a gooey dude.
A gooey dude? I guess we also have to call them gooids.
Gooey cities.
Instead of geodes, it's gooids.
Gooids. I love my gooids. Crack open a gooey, check out those good crystals. It's great.
But yeah, so if you ever need monster inspiration, I always recommend Blue Planet or Planet Earth. Just go watch them; they're great. They're on Netflix right now. For me, one of the things that like I have a list of things that inspired me that I've been writing down for this, like monster inspiration. I've talked about this. This is more of my like early internet nerdy stuff. Like I bonded a little bit with Steph with this cryptids, but specifically go into the creative like the SCP. If you're familiar with SCP. Check out SCP. The most interesting monsters I have ever seen. They're in. I forgot what it stands for, but it's essentially a Men in Black like organization, but more grounded. It's terrifying. They are the worst and scariest monsters and creatures in existence that this secret government organization is like tasked in studying. So there's not only like
here's what the monster is. It's like, here are the studies.
It's a show, right? Not reality.
No, this is reality. This is an augmented reality kind of a thing. It's been happening for years and years and years.
Oh.
Secure Contain Protect. I'm pretty sure that's what. SCP
Collaborative
Foundation.
Fiction Project. Okay.
Yes, where they put, but like it is. There are so many scientific studies. The data is like redacted a lot of the times when you read them. So it's like really fascinating, but it's also the reading. It is. You will not like it. It's so scary.
No.
But like those are the things that I really enjoy, mixed with the wholesome and sweetness of like, have you seen Wolf Children or Boy and the Beast by I have his name here, Mamoru Hosoda. Wonderful. Wolf Children is a fantastic movie. It is a cute little wolf kids. Go watch that movie if you want to cry for like 2 hours. Again, like Earthbound, Iwata, Itoi, Akira Toriyama from Dragon Ball, like those worlds fascinated me, and Akira Toriyama specifically did the art for Chrono Trigger, my favorite aside from Earthbound RPG. And JRPGs specifically for me have been an absolute joy to play because the creativity in those worlds and the fact that there are things that you might explore or that you might not explore based on the player that's playing the game, and certain paths and discussions you can have. And again, like the nonsense of those worlds where you can, like, I'm talking to a person who's a dog and maybe the president of the country. He's a dog. Cool. I love that. It's weird, but I love it. Akira Toriyama art, yes. Yes, Iffy. Yes.
You're so enthusiastic and I love it.
I'm allowed to be enthusiastic because I love things and I love you. And I love you, Lauren.
Aww.
Yeah, that's great.
That's so nice. So, other questions. Other things about, as a reminder, our Seed and Spark campaign is live. If you would like to help us fund the shows coming up for our next season, please head over there, donate to our campaign. That would be super awesome. We can then do things like our run of Ryuutama, which you will get to debut on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
We'll also get to have another season of Night Witches, Fund Worlds Beyond. Sort of.
Night Witches is sort of.
Night Witches, sort of. Cool. Fun Worlds Beyond. I also forgot there'd be me making videos about how to play RPGs.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, because remember I did some of those once, and they turns out people found them helpful. So I was like, oh, I kind of want to do
Wait, you're
some of
helpful
that.
at teaching people how to go behind the screen?
No.
No, okay, no. Just checking. Just want to clarify there.
Just to be really precise, I'm good at teaching, though. I have a whole degree in it or something.
You don't need a degree to teach.
You do.
You do, like, literally, legally.
You should, but
legally.
you do. Legally, you do.
Yeah.
Let's just be clear.
Can,
Actually, it's complicated. It's fine.
Lauren is great at teaching. We all know this. In dog years, specifically, she's great at teaching.
Would serve 32 to 64 years.
That's a hard.
It's a long time. So there would be making videos about how to play RPGs and other cool stuff like that. And this show will be transitioning, and that's actually something for us to talk. We can talk about too. Instead of talking more about behind the screens, literally in terms of playing and running RPGs, it will be more focused on the people of Geek Space TV and bringing on faces for you to interview.
What?
Yeah.
When does that start up, Lauren?
I believe it's February 11th.
February 11th, which is also going to be a wonderful day in February. That is 1 and 1 together. Not 2, but that's 11. 11 with the TH at the end of it. That spells February 11th. I'm going to be hosting an interview show where we get to know the cast and crew of Geek Space TV. I don't know how long it's going to last, but like specifically like time wise.
To be clear, I haven't actually put it on the schedule.
No, it's not. I was looking at it and I thought it started this Monday, and I'm very glad it didn't because I'm like, oh,
no,
I need to.
We're starting it when you're back.
When I'm back, because I'm leaving town. But you guys don't need to worry about that because I'm not on any shows anymore.
Because you weren't free on that one, so it must have been that one.
Yeah. So are we starting the art show on the that Monday though?
Yeah. No, we're starting the art show on.
Oh no, it's starting the 20th. No,
21st.
No, not next week.
Not next week. Nope. Yep. Next week, the 14th.
It's next week. I thought it was next. I was like, I thought there's stuff about this already. We're doing an art show on the 14th, Monday the 14th. Sour Fruit Junkie, aka Steph, the GM of Eat, Pray, Kill, is going to be hosting a art show where she is going to draw, maybe have some things happening. I will be here working on some stuff in the background and supporting a really talented, wonderful, creative artist who we're so happy to have on Geek Space TV.
That's happening. Starts next week.
But the 11th is when I do my thing.
The 11th is when you start your thing. I think we'll confirm for sure it's the 11th and not the 4th. I don't know anymore. That's super soon. But yeah, that's happening. So head over to our Seed and Spark, check out that campaign. If you have donated already, awesome, thank you. If you are unable to do so, that's totally cool too. Best things you can do are share about it, talk about it on your various social medias. If you feel like sending a mass email, we certainly wouldn't say no. But sharing the campaign with as many people as you can is also incredibly helpful for us. We are a nonprofit studio. Your support is what helps us work, and part of the reason that we want to do things like a Seed and Spark campaign is so that we can bring in a larger audience and kind of what we're trying to move away from is specifically doing weekly goals and being able to just do everything through Seeds and Sparks.
Yeah. So yeah, that is a big part of the overall plan. So we don't have to have that goal in this section of the screen down here that's saying this is how much we need. Instead, we can have ourselves funded, and we can know that we're going to have this content.
Basically,
through a certain point.
we're trying to be the NPR of Twitch.
Yeah, we're trying to. I can't wait for the tiny desk sessions that we're going to have.
Yeah, that's like functionally what we're trying to do. So this is our pledge drive. Head to our pledge drive.
Speaking as someone who Geek Space has been a huge part of my life for the last year and a half ish, it is super. It is super appreciated to have the support and see that this is already starting and it's going, and we have 1 month to do this. If we get greenlit, we get to continue to do the shows minus the stretch goals, but like we get to push forward and do this. And for me to have this opportunity to get to do this, I am incredibly grateful. And not only to Anna and Lauren, but like the people who have been so supportive, like on Twitter of my posts and my things that I've been making art for the Ryuutama
really cool.
show. Like, thank you so much for that. That is so wonderful and welcoming, and a place like that and people like you seem to only really gather at a place as cool as Geek Space TV. I am incredibly grateful to be here. I'm incredibly grateful that you here, and thank you for creating such an environment where we can hang out and do fun
Yeah, we're
things.
going to interrupt you every 10 minutes to offer you a tote bag. If you pledge now, you get this tote bag and this mug.
You also get the
We can make that happen.
And this Ferrero Rocher.
So on camera, it kind of looks like a what is it? Connect 4 from this distance.
Oh, that'd be delicious.
Oh, an edible Collect 4.
Yeah, an edible Connect 4. I'm on board with this. Sold. So anyway, no, you can't actually get this mug. This is Steph's. She might kill me if I.
She
send
will
it
kill
to
you. No,
anyone.
she will kill you.
Aw,
That's a
thank
really
you,
nice thing.
Anonymous. So, yeah, that's the Seed and Spark. You're going to be running Ryuutama. We will also have Night Witches on Saturday. The second episode, we'll have some hanging out, chatting, possibly donuts. I believe there is a section. I believe I'm the one who came to the schedule. There's a section. There will be cookies. Ooh.
What time does
there'll be
Ryuutama start, by the way?
Ryuutama's from 10 a.m.? Pretty sure it's 10 a.m.
10 a.m.
I think it's what I put on the schedule because I would make it 10 to 11, 11 to 12, 12 to 1. About
Super professional
1 to 2.
streamers.
And yeah, that gives us between
Super
an hour
tired.
and an hour and a half.
Super
changeover.
tired streamers. We are all
That's
very
why
exhausted.
I print out the schedule and stick it up around the room. So we're starting at 10 a.m.
What time are Walking Eggs?
But the whole thing starts.
The whole thing starts at
Yes.
9 a.m. So we'll be live at 9.
So if you get there at 9, get there super early, get warmed in, sit up, have. So
Get your
here's
seeds.
here. Get your seeds.
Yeah, get good seats.
Plant those seeds. Get ready for the
Move
sparks.
the cat.
Move the cat. Because I'm really. I am actually. Can I just real quick? So
Yeah.
I'm very excited for the 10 a.m. start time because while this is not exactly what
It's a Saturday morning.
I love Saturday morning cartoons. I loved waking up Saturday morning, getting up early, and watching my cartoons on WB, Kids, UPN, all those stations. And that's part of what I want to do with this, but with more narrative focus on character.
I need to make a graphic for Saturday. I'm going to do that for you.
For
so
what?
Saturday we will be starting at 9 a.m.
Oh.
The pilot episode, or our pilot trial of Ryuutama is going to be at 10 a.m. And then we'll have Night Witches at 3 p.m. And after that, board games, hanging out, wind down, all of that good stuff. Our hope is that when we fund the Seed and Spark campaign, the Ryuutama short run will be happening sometime between February and March. It's basically sometime after the campaign closes and once we've got, because the process as the person who does production is finding the cast, and then we also have to do all of the art assets for it. So.
And also, about that, like, part of the Seed and Spark will also fund me having a job at Geek Space.
Yeah.
I feel like I should say that too now, realizing it. Ryuutama is awesome, and I'm so grateful to get to do that. But part of the funding of the campaign will be me continue working at Geek Space and making sure that all of this stuff happens. I'm not gonna, like, if we don't get funded, I'm not gonna stop. They're not gonna fire me. They're not gonna kick me out of the building. I will still have to be here. But right? Wait, hold on. Do I have to leave? Should I leave or?
Get out.
I mean, I will talk about what
Yeah.
happens at various
Yeah.
funding points in, I don't know, what time is it?
About 30 minutes.
Yeah,
25 minutes.
Yeah.
So, other things. Let's bring it back to behind the screens.
Yeah.
Talking about RPGs. We're hyping up the Season Spark, but that's for Saturday. So you mentioned a little bit about kind of wanting to build a world in which you let some of the players. You kind of let the players sort of drive some of the action and prepare for what they do. What are some of the things that you've done to build the world? Like, what are the things, besides taking your inspirations, what are some of the pieces that you've created, and how did you go about making them?
For the this is one of the things that I was really working on is making the limiting. It's also one of the lessons I've learned from people, limiting NPCs.
Who did you learn that lesson
I wonder.
from?
I wonder who. Someone who I love and
Someone
respect.
we're bringing on next week.
Yeah. She is wonderful and talented. Lots of NPCs. I wanna simplify it and focus on refining that formula of having like dynamic and interesting characters that you want to invest in. Not that you have to because they're the character that's going to tell you what to do, but because the characters like so there's also adjustments that will be made once we have like a final cast or once the cast is there, where like creating a world where things are interesting enough that if you explore anything that is exposited upon or told about or that you see, you can go in and have an adventure with that. And it's not a branching narrative kind of a situation, but it's more of a really fleshing out the world and making it a very clear and concise world that you live in, so you can go ahead and explore within the bounds of the universe. Freedom. Getting to talk to people, getting to know people.
No, I'm just I'm
Johnny
sort of
Days.
interested like in how different people approach, because like I take a very minimalist approach to world building, where I plan only what I need to have planned, and then I create myself some rules and boundaries around things that I can make up on the spot. Like, I rely very much on improvising things. As players choose to go in a direction, I make a decision about what's there.
Oh, you have a very clean cut improvised style though. Like it is weird how clean it winds up being, where it's like it is almost. And this is speaking as someone who has been at the table with you and also like watched you, where you have this kind of. You can't really tell that you're making it up or that it's like that open. Like I can't tell when
that's
you're
good.
just bullshitting. But like for me, like one of the things that I am doing is I am literally building this world. I'm not
So what,
with
like-
the intention of it not all or most of it being even shown. Like I am.
Why did you go that route?
Because I like the idea of living in a world. I like a world that has rules. I like an idea that you can't just be like, and I suddenly turn into a tornado and punch a hole in the ceiling. Like I'm that's not a thing that makes any sense. But I like the idea of having an established world where I know the rules of, and then I give the characters the rules of, and that allows me to say no because this is the established world.
Would you say that having a more detailed amount of world building helps you say no?
Yes, because I can say no, but it allows me to say no, but here's the thing. This does this, and this leads you to this. Like I've been running through scenarios, which is again not the same thing as actually. Like a lot of the stuff that you're gonna see this weekend is a little bit of not. I won't say rust is the wrong word, but I'm very green. I'm so green that if you chroma key me, I would disappear.
Let's try it.
Let's try it. Ready, go. I'm still here. Great timing. It helps. It does help me to plan in that way that I know that if characters make different mistakes, like a lot of the things that I have 3 options planned, and more so in here's one thing that you can do, here's another thing that you can do, and here's a third thing that if you just do it that I'm not expecting, I still know how to bring it around to a cohesive story that not only empowers the characters but makes the world feel real. One of the things that I have, and this is not with everyone, because I've been very spoiled with GMs, but a lot of the times I've done like one-shots or little things with other people, and this is again not bad-mouthing anyone. One of the things that I had a problem was didn't feel like there was a cohesion in the world. It felt like something was made up to functionally make up for a character's choice instead of instead of enhance a character's choice, or like one of the things that I really am trying to give is options, but still the world exists around them. Like you cannot open a door and be out of the world. The world is still there. The world of Ryuutama is in my world of Ryuutama, a place called home, it is more of a it's open, it's fluid, it's living. There are things happening around the world. But I want to build in, like, once I know the characters, I want to build them into the story. Like, you'll see on Saturday, some character things are built into the story that I had no plans for, because you guys came up with some interesting ideas. So I'm excited to see where that goes.
I think I've played the same character in a different way multiple times.
Yeah.
It's a trope I enjoy.
It's a good one-shot character, too.
Solid trope.
Have you told them, or...?
No.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So I think...
That helps me, yeah.
One of the kind of tied to that, because I do, like, I've intentionally, I have actually pulled back the amount of planning that I do. When I first started, and when I start any RPG system, there tends to be a lot heavier, like, planning in the mechanics, because I don't have as much of a feel of the flow, of how to kind of make stuff up as I go along. But it's interesting to hear how different people approach, because I think at the end of the day, you're still doing the same thing that I do, which is creating the rules of the world, and then managing that, like managing what's the state of the world. I've just simplified them down. Hi, Trooper. Thank you for this raid.
Hey, Trooper.
I've started simplifying them down into, like, very distilled sentences. Like, here is the, like, this one sentence governs the rule of this world, like, and determining logical consistency based off of that. And so that's how I guide the yes or no answers I can give to players. The, like, logical consistency of Worlds Beyond. No, you cannot turn into a tornado.
Yeah.
Like, you can't. That's not an ability that you have.
Unless you went to the Looney Tunes recursion and
Yeah.
you were a Tasmanian devil.
And you
Like,
went
that's
to
the
Looney
only
Tunes
only
recursion
other.
and you were a Tasmanian devil.
Yeah.
Done. You can totally turn into one.
But,
So that's part of it. But
For me, like, that level of planning really helps me out, because, like, in my experience as a role player, especially on camera and character driven stuff, the thing that has always helped me out is if I have extra time to work on a character or an episode, or like, here's what my character wants to do, here's what my character will say presented the situation. These situations might never come up, but now I know how to effectively live in my character or in my NPCs. So if someone asks me a character or presents a situation, asks me a question or presents a situation that I'm not prepared for, I do know that deep down I have the heart of that character in mind. So when I go into that, I can help tell the story in that way. One of the best examples of that was the 2-part episode of Eat, Pray, Kill that we did, where we went into my character's brain and I got to play an evil, psychopathic villain. We didn't really have any plans for that. It just kind of happened. It was a collaborative thing. You could see us watching each other and listening to each other, and then kind of molding a story out of that, which is one of my most enjoyable things I have ever done as a human being, not just as an RPG person or an online person, but, like, one of my favorite things I've ever done was working with those people on those 2 days, just collaborative storytelling. And again, like, it's, I don't know about you, but have you heard of a thing called anxiety?
no, what's
No?
that?
So-
I've never been anxious in my life.
I have so much anxiety about things that if I plan, like, again, it is the preparedness. It might not mean I will use any of the thing. And this was part of, like, when I come from acting, like, I might not use any of this stuff on stage or on screen or on film, but, like, knowing that it's there and I can draw from it is incredibly helpful, incredibly comforting, and it means that I have my own back.
Yeah. No, I think there's a lot, like, for most people, I think you're going to be better off over planning than under planning for an RPG session until you are, like, I have NCT.
NCT.
Yeah, it's a kind of blend. It's my favorite type of tea. I have a background in doing this for a long time. Like, I've been doing RPGs for a while, and I've been improvising for a while. And so I can take those pieces to know that I have my own back at this point, and to also know that my players have my back in terms of how much I have to plan. But there has been a very clear change in the amount that I used to plan and the amount I plan now.
Fair. So, like, we used to plan as in, like, Shadowrun days?
Before that, like,
Pre-Shadowrun.
even pre-Shadowrun and then the beginning of Shadowrun for sure as well.
Would you say, like, Leviathan was around the time you kind of slowly started?
Leviathan was interesting. So I did a lot of, because Leviathan was, since, like, Shadowrun wasn't my own world. Shadowrun was a world that functionally already existed, and we were adding things into it, which
That's
is actually
correct,
also
yeah.
a lot of fun with. That's what The Strange is too. Like there's, I kind of recommend that as a way to play an RPG, to take an existing world and then add your own things into it. So taking a world that is less defined than something like taking a world that you're completely building from scratch. Both are totally different things to do, but like so taking like The Strange or Shadowrun, where these worlds that they give me a bunch of stuff to work with, so they kind of give me plot hooks and they give me suggestions and NPCs. So I would say like a chunk of the stuff that I'm pulling is just straight up from the book. Like I'm not making up. September Project is a group that I did not make up. That is a group that exists in the book.
In the actual setting of
yeah,
The
and in
Strange.
Shadowrun, the Draco Foundation existed, and then I choose to use those things.
So I have never played Shadowrun, but like I did not know that.
Yeah, they're
It was
totally
actually
things.
inside
So the
book.
Draco Foundation was set up, and this is where I'm like, I do a lot of, like, I also do a lot of planning up front. Like, there's this thing in Shadowrun called, there was a character called Dunkelzahn, which is also why we call you Drunkelzahn.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I just
he was
literally
a
learned that right
dragon
now.
that became the president. And then he was assassinated 24 hours into his presidency. And he left behind
What?
a will.
What? Someone named my dragon for me. I need a name for a dragon, by the
I
way.
didn't know you
Blue
didn't
dragon.
know all of this.
Now it's Jungle
Yeah,
Rat.
so his name was Dunkelzahn.
Oh my gosh, I have no
and
idea.
yeah, he was a dragon. He became president, and then he died. And he was assassinated, and he left behind this will.
Everyone knew that but me?
This will is a very
Okay,
long
Anna.
document that you can read. And I read it. I read the whole thing, and it is very long. So I skimmed the whole thing and pulled bits of it out to use when I was creating Shadowrun.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Like that basically formed the basis of like a lot of the story that I did in the Shadowrun game. And then so like the Draco Foundation was set up as the executor of his will, and then they just became this whole separate organization because he also had just had a fuck ton of money that was sitting around, and so it would earn interest
Oh my
before
gosh.
people collected it. And so they were like, I guess we can also be kind of like a charitable organization. and so I was like, cool, taking this, and now it is mine.
I'm gonna give you a high five real quick.
Yeah.
I'm gonna run to the bathroom in like 2 seconds.
Have fun.
Behind the screens!
So yeah, so I guess you didn't know what the Draco Foundation was, or where Dunkelzahn came from, and why we would call him Drunkelzahn. Yeah, it was a foundation in charge of a literal dragon's horde. So anyway, I really like the Draco Foundation. I will probably play around with Hestaby, who's my favorite Shadowrun dragon. So yeah, other things. I wanted to talk to him more, but he's going to the bathroom. Do y'all have questions for us? We have a Seed and Spark campaign. You can click on the link. It's probably in chat. Hi, Drunkly.
Not yet.
Welcome back.
No, I'll be drunky later.
Yeah, there is a West Room. I guess arguably it's behind the screen. If you think in a very literal sense, like, it is that direction.
Hi, guys. Hi.
Why is Hestaby the best? Because she's a badass dragon? Like, kind of cares about the environment, was like, they're really mean to me, so I'm gonna go just fuck off on the internet, basically. It was pretty great.
So I was thinking that now might be a good time if they have Seed and Spark questions that are related to you.
Sure. He's back.
Too
But
bad.
yeah, come join us. Oh no. Oh no.
So,
I'm gonna hide behind chat.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Yes, they're welcome to continue to ask questions. I'm glad I got to drop some knowledge on you.
no, I am not upset. I'm just a little hurt. No, I had no idea. That's really cool. I love it. Oh, will they?
Who are you? You're Anna Geeks.
I'm
but
Anna Geeks, yeah. I play on my own channel, and I kind of run this one a little bit. Although these days, like, I seriously... No. I'm the CEO. I run the channel. However, I want to give Lauren some serious props because she has been busting ass the last couple of months, and we wouldn't have been able to get to the point that we're at without her. So,
Just,
so there
I
you go.
make schedules. This
Really,
one
really
makes
well.
all of our
Like,
social media,
yeah.
so...
All right, so
Cool. Let's all
so yeah.
compliment each other
But
down the line.
I'm the CEO. I kind of run this place, and it's my birthday.
Occasional GM of Spikadelic.
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 Agents of Groove. You got to do something dramatic when you. Like, start by doing the, like, dancing like you're in the 60s. I don't know how to dance, in case you couldn't tell. But yeah, I don't know. And I, theoretically, actually no. We'll skip the theoreticals. We'll go right to the actuals.
Uh-huh.
I'm also going to be guesting on Night Witches in a few weeks.
I'm very excited. This is very convenient for me. They were like, we need someone to fill in 3 weeks. And I was like, Anna, are you free for 3 weeks?
And I was like,
we really want you to do this.
and I'm like, wife, am I free for 3 weeks? I will probably be busy during those times. Okay, yes, all right, yes, I can do it.
cool.
And if you
made
want to
my life
see,
very easy.
if you want to see a little idea of what Night Witches is, tune into the fundraiser on Saturday at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We are having the second episode of Night Witches, GM by Trooper, starring so many wonderful people.
But to catch up on that, we have a whole new way for you to do that now.
How do we?
We have a SoundCloud.
A SoundCloud. Now, if we ever do a viral
really
tweet,
viral tweet.
if we ever get a viral tweet, now everyone, if you ever, and this is a group effort. If any of us get a viral tweet, we have to post the link to the Geek Space SoundCloud. It's the only way.
So Night Witches, we had episode 1. We had a lot of frame rate issues, but the audio was still pretty good. So this is something that Trooper had already told me that he wanted to do for the show as quickly as possible. We just got it right up into audio form and compressed it. We're still going to work on the file sizes and stuff like that going forward, but it's there. It is downloadable on our SoundCloud. And it's pretty great. It's pretty awesome.
It is.
Trooper did a little added bit for intro too, so definitely check it out just for that. There's a little bit at the end as well. I don't think there's anything in the middle, but I can't remember.
Noctavita, SoundCloud is basically YouTube for just audio.
It's an audio sharing service used for musicians who are not necessarily signed to a label. It's also used for a lot of podcasts as a way to put up your content and get it seen, accessible by many people with or without an account. It is a great place that's going to help us out. So if you like it, check it out. Very excited.
We want to get on like Libsyn and a bunch of other different podcast places, but we kind of can't afford to right now to be on Libsyn for the amount of content to get all of our shows up there. It would cost us close to $100 a month, and where this is like a trial run thing that we haven't done yet, that's too much. But if it takes off, if people really like it based on our SoundCloud, then we will absolutely spend that money. Because compared to like, I don't know, that costs less than this show's one episode. So it makes sense. We just need to make sure that there's interest first.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So SoundCloud is costing us a lot less than that, though still costing us. But anyway, follow our SoundCloud, subscribe to our SoundCloud, and listen to Night Witches episode 1.
Yeah, check it
Welcome
out.
to the Aerodrome.
It was a fantastic premiere. I'm excited to listen to the audio because
So
I was watching and we did have some technical difficulties. We totally understand. But damn, is it a good episode. Such a great cast. Again, Trooper, one of the greatest GMs I've had the pleasure of working with. And I just so passionate about the project. So yes, thank you so much. Check it out. Night Witches on YouTube, Night Witches on SoundCloud, and Night Witches this Saturday at 3 p.m. Pacific Time on the Geek Space TV Seed and Spark fundraiser. So excited.
It's going to be a good day. We don't have a command yet, apparently. We'll get there.
Yeah.
Our sound is a bit clouded.
Did I mention that we launched a crowdfunding campaign just over an hour ago?
How are we doing, by the way?
Roughly that.
$2,084 pledged.
We might have gotten another 50, but I can't tell.
Might have gotten another 50, but we can't tell.
I'm just because I'm sitting here now.
She's
I can go over
sitting
there.
here now.
And okay, but are there questions for the three of us? Are there still more questions for these two? Because I can go and.
We'll also all be around at 9 a.m. Actually, you probably shouldn't because you'll probably be freaking out because it'll be your first ever RPG.
No, so I haven't told anyone my
story.
plan. My plan is I am coming here at I'm coming to downtown at 6 a.m. and I'm just gonna work in a coffee shop and stress out for a little bit. No, then I'm gonna go get ramen after the show and probably.
The king needs his ramen.
The king needs his ramen.
Krellin, I have no idea if Mufek will make an appearance. I have gotten to the point of being like, I really want to play in Shadowrun again. I don't know what rules I want to use, and I don't know how much I want to try and connect it to the existing universe, because I messed that one up a lot with a big old dragon at the end, and so that just seems like a
Me?
Okay.
like a
Drunk-
potentially
drunk dragon zone?
world-altering state.
If you really want to get into it, it was messed with far
Clones? The
far
clones, the
beyond
clones.
that.
The
Far
clones.
before that, with on so many levels. Okay, no, I'm just maybe.
Just a
Maybe.
complicated turn around the time there was infinite clones.
So,
Long story.
Or was there just one that was not like constantly moving very
Nope,
quickly?
Hold on.
there were infinite clones.
sorry, did I hear the GM of High School Royale
No, she's
off
gonna be
screen
on the show next
or no?
No. Definitely
Just
not.
crumbling candy on herself. What a wonderful human being. We are going to be so sorry. Last thing. So excited again. AJ, this lovely human
Yeah,
being,
fine.
Lauren and Claudia are going to be joining me Saturday at 10 a.m. for Ryuutama, A Place Called Home. I am referring to it as the demo solely because the graphic was already made.
Wait, what?
There was already a graphic for it, so I'm like, I'm going to call it the demo.
Okay.
Yeah, it's called the demo in the graphic. I'm like, I'm not going to change anything. I'm tired.
Yeah, that's legit.
I need to
that's
sleep.
Legit.
I need to sleep soon.
I don't know what you're talking about, Alyssa. I have never repeated plot ideas. They probably were very similar. It's fine. They
So-
didn't have to go through a portal to another dimension.
Any important questions for
Yeah.
the three of us? You've got 4 minutes left with
Thank
these
you,
two
Iffy.
and 34 minutes left with me.
Thank you, Iffy. Iffy understands.
Do you need me to set you a timer?
No, I got it.
Siri.
Hey Siri,
Siri and I don't get along.
please set a timer so Anna knows the time that it is saying, so that we can do the thing where it is 5 minutes until we are ready to go, so Anna can do her show called Wind Down. In 3 minutes, me and Lauren are here, and we're having a show called Behind the Screens, and we're having a great time.
For how long?
5 minutes, please.
If you insist.
Hell yeah, I got a timer set for 5 minutes.
That was surprisingly effective.
Done. So this is going really well. I am excited that Geek Space has allowed me this place. Thank you so much for taking this, Anna, like for real, for allowing me to do this at the beginning of the Seed and Spark fundraiser. I am genuinely grateful. You have been pushing me to do this for a while.
I'm
What are
very
you gonna
excited.
say? What are you gonna say?
Nobody asked me.
No one asked you?
Yeah, nobody asked me.
Oh, well then thank you,
I
Lauren,
was
for not
told what
asking
the-
Anna
I
so
was
she
told
wouldn't say
what
no.
the schedule was, and
Thank
I was like,
you.
"Er."
Seed and Spark?
Then I
Yeah,
take
no,
it back,
I sent you
Anna?
a schedule and I asked you, we could,
No. You told me this is the schedule for the Seed and Spark, and I was like, hey,
Oh.
she totally figured out the whole Seed and Spark. We're good. All right. Sounds great. Let's do it.
I definitely
Yeah,
was
sure.
like, please, subtext of feedback, but everyone said it was fine.
Hey
In
Siri,
fairness, the first schedule I had didn't
Hey,
actually know
Google.
what the RPG
Okay, please
was.
stop.
I want to mess up everyone's stuff. No, yeah. There we go. So Anna, I rescind my thanks to you.
No,
You're
we
welcome.
did ask about the short run of
I don't
Ryuutama.
know
I
what-
didn't just say that was happening.
Yes.
I
That
No,
was
the schedule
that
for
was
the Seed and
yeah.
Spark, I definitely just wrote that.
Yeah, we did talk about that a little bit.
You told me you wanted
And as well
13.1 hours, and I
Yeah.
said, okay.
Because it's a half marathon. Everybody does a 24-hour marathon on Twitch, but that's not.
Should be 26.2 hours.
That's what I'm saying. A half marathon. It's 13.1.
So, we were doing a half marathon. That's what you told me, and I made a schedule.
It's true. It's true.
It was also
So we
really
are-
easy because
yeah.
like 4 hours of it were already planned for me.
Yeah. And I said that I wanted to have more downtime between things because the last ones were just feeling too busy. We didn't have enough time to talk about what we were doing there and do scene changes because we're not like super funded with lots of cameras and stuff.
We move all our cameras around. Actually, we leave most of them in the same spot. It's pretty great.
Well, now, yeah. That's
Solid setup.
It's-
All right. On that note, I'm gonna leave your sofa in about 1 minute,
all right.
and then it will become your sofa. Well, it's my sofa now.
Then we gotta swap the line.
Oh, cool. Cool. Should I leave the sofa, or do you want to swap it while I'm sitting at it?
You still have a minute.
I have 10. No, I'm just joking.
Okay, now it's 6:30.
Oh,
now
no,
you're
I'm
on my
behind.
show.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, no, I sit over here. That's why.
Yeah.
That's why.
You
Question:
organize this
Who is
differently.
Drunkly's? Who was on Drunkly's show?
Not Anna.
Not me. I wasn't invited.
Well, you didn't know about the show apparently, and you would have said no, I guess.
No, I didn't say that. I did not say
You
that.
did not say that. Also,
I did approve the short run of it.
that's
I'm
good.
really
So
wondering.
there.
I'm trying to remember how I sent all of these Discord messages,
Which,
and the answer is I don't know.
Incidentally, when I okayed, hadn't budgeted in for. I had to rework the budget to do the Ryuutama short run.
Oh. Thank you, Anna.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It's the seed and spark that I didn't okay.
Seed and Spark is more. You have a question from Krellin. All right, I'm gonna
do.
leave you. You're great.
Hi,
I'll see you
Krellin.
Saturday.
Claudia, did
Claudia, do you
who
want
didn't
more?
have a cupcake?
I had one yesterday.
I'm eating it. Here, let's
You've
watch.
had like 12.
I've had 3. They're
fine.
they're
It's
mini
fine.
cupcakes. One is basically one.
Is Seed and Spark like Kickstarter or like GoFundMe? Yes. I would say it's more like Kickstarter than GoFundMe because you have to be actually making something. I don't know. No, Seed and Spark is basically like Kickstarter, but it is specifically for independent video content, pretty much, what we do. Thank you.
Wait.
Oh, God.
I hate this.
Happy birthday to you.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to you. Don't
It's
tell
your
Anna.
birthday.
Happy birthday, dear Anna.
Yeah, birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
Oh, it's birthday time. It's a remix now. We're gonna bring it down.
Whoa,
Happy
my
birthday.
God. Claudia, jeez, that was awesome.
Happy birthday, Anna.
Happy
Thank
birthday,
you.
Anna.
Thank you.
It's not your birthday until you're embarrassed a little bit.
Apparently.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it's been my birthday all day then, so. I just remembered that I have to pay for my parking too, which is great timing on that. Thank you all. Have a
birthday.
wonderful day-night cycle, and I'll see you on Saturday.
Saturday.
Super early on Saturday.
Have a great night.
Uh,
Goodbye, chat. You're lovely.
I'm
Thanks for the
gonna
support.
Bye, chat.
Alright, hang on. I'm just hang on to all of you, sorry. I'm gonna pay for that. That's good, whatever. Alright, so Seed and Spark is basically a Kickstarter. It's a crowdfunding website specifically for independent media creators, which is exactly what we are. Kickstarter doesn't really have a spot for us. The average indie video project on Kickstarter brings in $2,000, and then the average on Seed and Spark, I think, is $15,000 to $20,000. And our last Seed and Spark falls right in that range. Our last Seed and Spark brought in $18,000. So, it's the flip side of that is like if we went on Kickstarter, sure, Kickstarter would have better name recognition, but we wouldn't be able to do it for exactly what we're trying to do. We would have to go for a GoFundMe, which is a little more nebulous and a little less. The name recognition is there. The trust that people have with Kickstarter isn't there for GoFundMe. Seed and Spark is the perfect middle ground for that. So, well, bigger budgets for video stuff than Kickstarter, yeah, but it's also still very, very small budget stuff like what we do. The way in which I mean the question is, do you get the pledged money regardless, or do you have to hit the goal to get the funds? We actually have to hit a totally different number. This is one of the things that boggles my mind a little bit about Seed and Spark, is there is a green light number that is different from your goal. We have to hit 80% by the end of the campaign to get paid out. And whatever we have hit beyond 80%, we will get. At the end of the 30 days, that's when everyone gets charged, is at the end of the 30 days. So our overall goal being $30,000, we need to hit $24,000 or we don't get paid. So there you go. Yeah, that's my answer to that question. Hopefully it answers it, or something. When does Saturday start, Anna? 9 a.m. Pacific time. 9 a.m. Pacifically. very specifically, or something. If under 80, does the money just go away like raccoons wash candy? Aw, that's like the saddest video, Iffy. Why would you bring... Oh, poor raccoon goes to wash his food and it just dissolves and it's like the saddest. If it's under 80, if we don't get funded under 80%, then everybody keeps their money except us. We don't get to keep any money. It's just nobody ever gets charged. It's a failed campaign. So there you go. It doesn't go away. It stays with the pledgers who don't get charged. Exactly, as Krellin says. Exactly so. Right. There's another one when he does get to eat it. Is there? Aw, did they make like special... Alright, that's beside the point. We have half an hour tonight. We have until 7 o'clock because it's my birthday. I want to leave at 7 o'clock tonight. So we're only covering Seed and Spark or Night Witches and Night Witches post-decessor. I was going to say predecessor, but that's the wrong direction. The thing that's going to come after Night Witches. I'm only covering Night Witches, Seed and Spark, and post-Night Witches questions tonight. No, we're not talking about sad raccoons who lose their food because they have to wash it first. What am I doing for my birthday tonight? I'm getting sushi on my way home, and I'm getting into my pajamas, and I am cuddling with my wife and my cats, because my wife is going away for the weekend, so tonight is the last time I will get to see her until she gets back. So that is actually the reason. It's not because it's my birthday, but that's the actual reason. That combined with it being my birthday is the reason that yeah, we're ending at 7 o'clock. So, sorry not sorry. That's it. That's it. That's what I'm doing. I made cupcakes a couple days ago and shared them with everyone. I have lemon curd tart that I have as well. So there you go. So ask me more questions that are on subject, because I am here until 7 one way or the other. I'm here until 7 answering your questions. Plus, I just paid for parking. Something is scheduled for after Night Witches. On the Seed and Spark page, it says kind of season 2 of Night Witches. We already know, I really, really want another season of Night Witches. But as Trooper will tell you, the system is just not really designed for it. The Night Witches by Bully Pulpit Press is what that RPG show uses for the RPG, and it's just not designed for you to do multiple seasons of the show the way we've got it set up. We could theoretically, start over with a new cast going through the war, but it would basically be the same show, just with different characters, so you lose a lot. So Trooper and I were pretty much already on the same page with this. What we want to do is still stay with that overall theme, that overall idea of what women did, in particular, flat out, what women did in World War II to help the war effort that is not often discussed, is not often talked about, that lets us draw on real history, that lets us draw on true stories, and build something amazing. And these are the things that I absolutely love about even just that one episode of Night Witches. Night Witches, so far, is nailing the tone that I've wanted for shows from the beginning. So I feel very, very gratified and fulfilled by having that show on our channel. Are there less RPG shows on the lineup because you want to expand the scope of what GeekSpace does? No, there aren't. There are not less RPG shows on there because I want to expand the scope of what GeekSpace does. Although that is true, I do want to expand the scope of what we do. I want to make a point of saying the only reason there are fewer shows listed there, in particular fewer RPG shows, is because if we had the same, it would be a $50,000 campaign. And I'll be honest, I don't think we can hit that goal. And if we can, I've got show ideas. We've got more shows that we can run. But we got to be able to pay for them. The last campaign, I set goals for the last Seed and Spark with the idea that we would still be making the same amount in donations over the course of the week, that we would still be able to hit our donation goals, which there is on the screen again, and there's not supposed to be, but whatever. Sorry, ignore that. Ignore the goal thing down here. It doesn't exist. I made assumptions based on how things were doing that even if we did a little bit worse, we still would have been all right. And I was wrong. So I realized through doing that people kind of thought the Seed and Spark was intended to cover everything, and it wasn't. In spite of my best efforts to let people know that, it's just not like... I could shout it from the rooftops every day, and not everyone would get the message. It's just the way media works, right? People go to the bathroom during that 5 minutes or whatever. It just happens. So this Seed and Spark, it was very, very important to me that this Seed and Spark cover pretty much all of our expenses for the season. The only thing it doesn't cover is our Patreon, is covered by our Patreon. Rent and utilities is almost entirely covered by our Patreon. There's a little bit, our rent has gone up because we're month to month. There's a little bit that isn't, but more or less our Patreon covers rent and utilities. So it is not included in Seed and Spark. Everything else is. That's why there are fewer RPG shows. That's why there are actually fewer shows on there in general. The art show was covered by the last Seed and Spark, and Marcus's show was covered by the last season's Seed and Spark. And we have very little of that money left, but I still feel obligated to make those shows, so I'll figure out a way to do it. Wondering about, are those authentic antique headpins and uniforms? Raver Convict, that's a question for Trooper SJP. I think he already answered it. Trooper SJP, for those that don't know, is the GM of the of Night Witches RPG that we do on Saturdays now. Okay. Occurs to me that donation messages are not going to be a thing anymore. They are still. If people want to donate still, we will still read donation messages. Donations will be used for more immediate things. Donations in the future will be used to cover unexpected expenses. If we need an upgrade, if we want an upgrade, then we might still have a goal again. Excuse me. But it won't be the same. It won't be the same. Chances are I'll set up a $0 goal per week, and it'll be more of a way to keep track of how much money has come in addition to the Seed and Spark. Stuff like that. Like, we'll still kind of use that mechanic, but it's not going to be the same, no. But yeah, if people donate, we will still absolutely have it. How much is it for this time? The Seed and Spark is for $30,000, which means that we need to pull in $24,000 to get any of the money at all. And if we only get that $24,000, I will have to cut some of the stuff out of it, but we'll kind of play it by ear, figuring out what gets cut. I'll be honest, it'll probably be... It depends on how Ryuutama goes. It'll be one of the short run things. It'll be one of the most likely be one of the short run RPGs that gets cut first. But we will use weekly goals to try, or not weekly goals. We'll use that goal bar to try and make up that difference leading up to it. But it depends on how short we end up being. We'll see how it goes. This was hinted at, so I'll ask, what's the plan if the Seed and Spark fails? Or if you don't want to go into it, at least is there one? I will absolutely go into that. Goal will be for frosting, not cupcake. No. Frosting is an add-on goal. Frosting is, I mean, the goal for donation goals as opposed to the Seed and Spark goal. Yes, be right, UK. It'll be more for frosting instead of just the cupcake. So, to answer, if the Seed and Spark completely fails, we'll still do our best to figure out a way to finish up this season of Worlds Beyond. We will still do our best to finish up the season of Night Witches, which more or less should be paid for by the last Seed and Spark. But I will cut a lot of content. I will have to cut a lot of content. Basically, if the Seed and Spark fails completely, instead of doing a wrap party, we'll end up doing another fundraising event immediately, like the day after or something like that, and see what we can pull in to afford what shows we can. And I will take a cold hard look at it and cut a whole bunch of stuff out, and that sucks, frankly. We already, as Marcus likes pointing out, we already don't have a show with him on it. Ryuutama would obviously be that show, but think of how many people are in Marcus's position right now. Arya's back in town. We would still love to get Sally and Andy back at some point. We don't have any shows with AJ in them right now, with Lizzie in them, with Cheryl in them, with all of the people from Right Clique, with all of, so there's a lot of people that we want to bring back. I have no end of show ideas, RPG show ideas that I could throw together if we can get the people scheduled in the right order for it. So there's a very, very high bar for running out of ideas for content. That is next to impossible for us. Cutting back the content is what hurts. But if we don't hit goal, then that's what I'll have to do. That's the plan. But because the studio itself is almost entirely paid for by Patreon, even in a worst case scenario, we have $0 to put on shows. Geekspace will morph into, at least temporarily, will morph into a nonprofit that will help other people do RPG shows. So, maybe I would do one on my channel, and Lauren can do Worlds Beyond on her channel, and Marcus can do Ryuutama on his channel, or whatever. And that is not going to work anywhere near as well, but that would be something along those lines is a negotiation that we would have behind the scenes, and it's one of the ways that Geekspace might persist if in a worst case scenario. But I don't really want to talk about worst case scenarios, so let's dial up to if we get to the green light. That I've got some buffer worked in to the Seed and Spark campaign for emergencies, and then we would just have donation goals for those emergencies instead, or for that wiggle room instead, and see how it goes. So, what is the status on nonprofit progress? I'm going to be honest with you. You're not going to like the answer. I haven't been able to do anything with that lately. What happened leading up to the last Seed and Spark campaign, I got burned to a crisp. I got super, super burned out. And once we got past that, I was still pushing into that burned out territory while we got Marcus up to speed and Lauren started helping with all of the scheduling and whatnot. And that's part of why I'm so grateful to Lauren right now, is because of how much she helped in dealing with my burnout. So once I started to recover from that burnout, I immediately had to start diving. I dove back into the appearance at Geek Girl Con, our booth at Geek Girl Con, and then immediately after that has been planning for this campaign. However, now that this campaign is live, I'm diving into reward fulfillment for the last one, but I'm going to have help, and I have a plan for getting help for getting the 501c3 stuff up and rolling again. So unfortunately, nothing has progressed lately. It still is crap. Will funding give me more breathing room? Yes. Funding will give me even more breathing room. So now I'm trying to ramp up what I'm doing as I've recovered a decent amount from my burnout in a variety of ways. I'm trying to ramp up what I'm doing for the geek space again, but being careful not to do it too much and burn out again, because that'll be really, really easy. Once you've burned out, it's really easy to burn out again. We intend the Seed and Spark. You'll notice, potentially, hopefully, Marcus is not listed as the social media managerini or whatever it is. He's not the social media manager on that Seed and Spark. We want to bring on board another person to not just be a social media manager, to be a community manager for us, and that will incorporate social media, but it'll also help me out with things like Seed and Spark reward fulfillment, Patreon reward fulfillment. Patreon has been severely underobserved. I've done a terrible job of keeping that up to date, and I'm really sorry about it. Like, that was one of those things that fell onto me. I know I'm too old for burnout. I'm sorry. Iffy will be able to help me with that. That's Iffy is going to be our community manager if we are successful at this campaign. And part of that, if we only hit green light, we'll have to dial back how many hours we're able to give Iffy, and maybe dial back some of the hours that we're able to give Marcus, who's going to shift over into curating our YouTube content and doing the little before show videos that he does of the different cast members that we then put into longer form intro videos, stuff like that. So yeah, there you go. Funding will give me more breathing room. It'll be a big old pile of stuff that I either am struggling to get to or haven't been able to get to, and it'll hand it all on off to Ifrithiel as our community manager. He'll also be there to help coordinate with the moderators, to help set the tone in the Discord, and to fuel interaction there, to fuel interaction on our various social medias. So I'm really, really looking forward to bringing him on board in a more close to full-time capacity. So, yeah. So there you go. Yes, yeah, it will be a huge amount off my plate. Just getting all of the reward fulfillment stuff off my plate would be a huge, huge thing right now. So, yeah, there you go. And then I think that I will be able to function without burnout. Also, built into the Seed and Spark goal is getting a dedicated board operator for our RPG shows, for our local RPG shows at any rate. Is actually built into the different show goals is both my pay as CEO and having a dedicated board operator. So, yeah, there you go. I don't know who that is yet, so it would be really, really great. I have a couple of people to talk to in mind, but I haven't had a chance to talk to them. So I have ideas. And I definitely want that to be a priority, but board operator is in running the controls, swapping scenes, if we're in a multi-camera show, being able to change camera angles, things like that. Yeah. And does sound, runs sound, adjusts camera, adjusts lighting as needed. In the long run, I still want to do a lot of interesting things with our lighting here on our Twitch shows. I think that there's some real powerful opportunities there in stage setting on live shows that isn't being done yet, and that is a way that we can create trends, help push things in the direction that I see them going, and we would need somebody good to be able to do that. All right, sorry, I'm pulling up the mod chat just as an in case. Okay. And I'm seeing if sorry. All right. More questions. Any more questions? Not an operator that's bored. No. I like helping do the things that make it easier for cast to be in front of the screens. Less burnout, more burn chat. No, don't burn chat. Go burn Lauren's chat. She's AFK. And I do also want to say that I'm sorry that it's going to be short tonight. It is my birthday. I'm not sorry. I'm not. I am sorry that I feel bad that inconveniences other people, but I'm not sorry about it. So, what I will say though is there will be plenty of opportunity to cover more of this stuff on Saturday. We've built in plenty of room to sit and chat and for me to answer questions. Sounds like the Patreon has expanded into more of a lifeline than it was last year. No, not really, Krellin. The Patreon has always been wonderful at paying the rent and utilities. That's what it has always done, and it just expanded when we moved to a more expensive place. Hey, Gelbow! I haven't seen you in ages. I hope you're wonderful, and thank you for the happy birthday. I appreciate that. Thank you for those getting happy birthday in there. I do appreciate it. So, yeah. Question, Anna. I hear a rumor that there's going to be a guest player in Night Witches in February, and that person might be you. Can you confirm? Yes, I actually mentioned it a little bit earlier. I am going to be a guest person. Unfortunately, Sarah needs to be out for a few weeks from Night Witches, so I am jumping in and going to sub in her place, wearing her uniform. So, it'll be interesting. We're roughly the same size, so it actually fits. If Geek Space TV is successful and grows, would Patreon still cover rent for a larger space? Not currently, no. Currently, our rent is supposed to go up, and it didn't this last month, and I'm not really sure why. But if it does, then it won't cover it currently. But it'll be close to doing so, so that's kind of why I'm not too worried about it. Like, if we have to, then I'll put up a little gold bar for like the extra $200-300 that we need to cover in a month. So I'm not really too stressed about it. So it'll be as ill-fitting on you as it is on Sarah. Yes, and it's important to note, and as ill-fitting as they were for the historical Night Witches who had to wear men's uniforms for like 80-90% of World War II. So, yeah, there you go. Right. Run out of time. Any more Seed and Spark or Night Witches or post-Night Witches questions? So I guess the new payment mechanism worked? Huh? Oh, yes. Yeah, new way of sending a check to pay for rent. Yeah, that worked. I'm gonna try it earlier now that I know it works. Possibly Pumpkin. The reason that our rent increased by a couple $100, it was supposed to increase by 25%, but but 25% of the rent cost, not 25% of rent plus utilities and triple net and all that. Whatever. It was supposed to go up by a couple $100 because we shifted to a month-to-month lease. The reason that we shifted to a month-to-month lease, in spite of that extra cost, is because this space isn't really perfect for us. We don't have a kitchen to do any sort of baking shows, which I would still love to do some kitchen shows. We don't have any sort of ventilation. We share a bathroom. We share walls with people that do like underground club nights, basically. It's not an ideal space, and we are kind of crammed in here for all of the content that we want to be able to create. So in that way, if we have a wild success and are able to expand in 6 months from now, we'll be able to get out in one month. 1 month notice, we can get to a new space. Likewise, if it goes in the other direction, say the crowdfunding campaign is an utter failure, and we're just like scraping by to wrap up the stuff that we've already obligated to do and figure out how we can progress from here, then that helps us as well. It doesn't leave me personally on the hook to pay rent in this space that I can't afford on myself from my stream. It can't pay for this. So it would also allow us to kind of scale out and figure out what the geek space is going forward. It also gives us plenty of time to figure out how to like fire things back up and dive back in and recover and things like that. So month to month on this space, month to month made sense. It's because it's not the perfect space. But we're also not ready to leave yet. It's just the video player on your end? Okay, well that's good-ish. Wonder if they had time to tailor them or just made do. Combination, iffy. It's kind of a combination. Thank you, Raver Convict. I appreciate that. I do. I really love the direction that Night Witches is going in. I'm looking forward to having our tech issues worked out on that. I think that Lauren is one of the best GMs that I've ever met. So that's why we've got her on, and I look forward to creating more content in the visions that I have, the ideas that we all have, and toward the passions that we all have. So I'm going to give you one last opportunity for questions before Saturday. Else, ask them in the Discord. The Discord is also available. Join the Discord if you're not already there. And there you go. So, yeah, Seed and Spark is live. Yes, and I have in fact met Matt Mercer. I have met Matt Mercer and a slew of other really incredible GMs. Lauren is quite possibly the best of them. So there you go. Matt's great, don't get me wrong, and he's a really, really nice guy. Has your birthday been good so far? I haven't really been able to spend my birthday the way I would like to spend it, the way I generally like to spend my birthdays. So I'll be honest, it hasn't really been a great one. It hasn't been awful, though. Sorry, I believe in being very, very honest. I'm not going to give you empty platitudes. I'm not going to be like, yeah, it was great, if it wasn't. It was decent. It was decent. It wasn't spent how I wanted to spend it. I've basically been on the go all day. I really, for my birthday, I like to stay home and stay in my pajamas and cuddle with my wife and cats and like play video games and watch TV and just have the day to myself. And I haven't been able to do that today. And it's my own fault. Totally my own fault. We had cleaners come today at my apartment. That could have been rescheduled. I had to do a bunch of stuff for the Seed and Spark. I'm the one who chose today to launch the Seed and Spark. We could have launched yesterday. We could have launched tomorrow. We could have launched Saturday. That's on me. So, like, it's totally all on me. It just hasn't been the day that I wanted. But that's okay. I'm going to take Monday off and have it be a surrogate birthday. It's going to be fine. I'm going to take Monday off. I'm going to do nothing-ish. Mostly nothing. It's fine. If you need delicious cake, I have recommendations. Thank you, Gelbell. I usually bake my own birthday cake. This year, I skipped it, and I made everyone else cupcakes because I have a lot of allergies and can't eat most store-bought things. But yeah, but I have tons of delicious things waiting for me at home. Yep, exactly so, Braver Convict. That is more or less the only way I know how to do things, is to keep pushing forward. Because what's the other option? Stop? Lay down in a ditch and die? No. No. That's not an option. Going back? That's not an option. So we persist. We push forward. That's how I do things. Need a Bake-Off RPG, like a Great British Bake-Off, the RPG? That would be hilarious as a one-off. I could see doing that. All right, we're done. We're done. thank you all very, very much. Thank you for all of the sharing of the Seed and Spark campaign. We've got to push really, really hard to, we definitely have to hit 30% by the end of Saturday, but I would love it if we can hit 80 by the end of the weekend. Would be amazing. It would make me super happy and mean that I could relax for the next month instead of spending it all stressed out. But if we can't, I totally get it. But that's my internal goal. If I'm honest with you, that's my internal goal. But as long as we hit 30%, we'll manage. So, yes. Thank you all for the birthday wishes. I will be streaming on my own channel tomorrow, twitch.tv/AnnaGeeks, and I'm going to play a video game or just hang out and chat. I'm not really sure. And then I will be back on Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Saturday morning at 9 a.m. right here on Geek Space TV while we do a 13.1 half marathon on Saturday. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to episode 2 of Night Witches. Go check out the podcast version of it, and I'll see you all on Saturday. Thank you all so very, very much.